Hello, my friends, and happy Thursday. I have a co-host today. He really wanted to be in here with me today, so we let him. So today we are making a pair of earrings with those really, really cute spiny oyster hearts. I remember when I first showed the hearts and I was like, I am just so inspired by these little hearts. And let's make some earrings. So we are making the earrings with the spiny oyster hearts. And also I have I have a few things to share with you. This is actually my last Thursday for the next 2 weeks. So my next Thursday night video is going to be on the 20th of March. We are going on vacation, so we are just going to put the videos on hold. Although we still have 2 videos before we go away. That is something to look forward to. And when we get to the end of the video, I will talk a little bit more about that. So in the meantime, let's get started. So these are incredibly simple, and my little helper just ran away, and that is totally fine. He may or may not come back.
Fonda says, good evening, everyone. Happy Thursday.
Hi, Fonda. Happy Thursday. I hope you are having a wonderful day. So as you can see, these are incredibly simple, and they are really quite kinetic. There's a lot of movement. Let me hold them. Let me hold them like this, so that you can see. So there's just really not a whole lot to them.
Fonda says, good evening, everyone. Happy Thursday.
We just said hi to Fonda, but you know what? We can say it again. Hello, my friend.
And
How are you doing?
She says, I just ordered my kit.
Yay! Woohoo! I'm so happy.
Karen says, good evening. Happy to see your fur baby.
Hi, Karen, and thank you so much. He was also very happy to be here.
Tiki's such a cute helper.
Thank you so much. Yeah, he loves being here with us. So, we stopped leaving him in the office, and he can just hang out and provide, inspiration. So again, we are making these earrings, and they're called Love is Always in Season. And I only have one version of them, but I feel like it just goes with everything. At least in my world, it really goes with everything. It's spiny and turquoise, and what else do we really need?
Bonnie says, good evening to everyone, Irina and Tony.
Hi, Bonnie. And good evening to you, my friend. Okay, so should we get started? I'm thinking, yeah, let's go for it. So we have a little heart. Actually, I don't quite need this bead just yet, but I do need a little turquoise bead. And I also need a teeny tiny, almost like so difficult to see, a little 15O seed bead. And this is one of those metal seed beads. It's not made out of glass. And I always talk about these metal seed beads because, I really love using them. Even when they're this tiny, it really makes a difference that you use metal rather than glass, because you're not going to crush it, and it provides just the right kind of a little tiny spacer between the heart, which we're going to string onto the ball pin right now, and next we're going to string the little seed bead, the 15-0, and then the lovely little turquoise bead. And these are faceted turquoise. They're 3 millimeters, and they're lovely and bright. And now we're going to start making a wrapped loop.
Jolene says hello.
Hi, Jolene.
Cheryl says, hi, Irina and Tony. Gorgeous earrings.
Thank you so much, Cheryl. So easy to make, and it's going to be so quick, like you blink and you will have missed it all.
Katie says, watching on my phone, too tiny. Sure hope Facebook will decide to let me on my laptop. Happy Thursday, all.
Oh, happy Thursday, Katie. I hope Facebook lets you in. Why is it so naughty?
Yippee, finally got on my laptop.
Woohoo!
Yay.
Yay! Okay, ladies. So obviously every wrapped loop starts with a 90-degree angle, which I just made with my chain nose pliers. And now I am going to use my round nose pliers to actually make the loop. And I'm keeping this loop pretty small, which is why I'm not using the bail making pliers. I'm using just my regular round nose pliers. And all we want to do is just make a little tiny loop. And mine is going to be roughly 3 millimeters or so. And right now I'm just working on centering it. And we are going to wrap the end of our wire. And so I'm going to coil it around the wire with all the beads on it. So what I like to do with this type of a bead, and what I mean by this type of a bead, this is a flat heart, which of course is made out of the lovely spiny oyster. And the one side that we're looking at is bright orange with some nuances of red and maybe yellow or coral. But the other side is generally white. And my preference would be that this does not turn as I wear it. So what I'm going to do is turn the loop the way I want it, which is going to be perpendicular to the heart. And then as I wrap that little wire tail around our wire with the beads, what I'm going to do is wrap it enough times where it just holds the heart in place. So it's still spinning a little bit, which means there's a little room for another coil, and I'm going to do just that. So be very careful, because we don't ever want to crush our turquoise. Turquoise is really quite soft. It's very lovely, but as far as the hardness of stones, turquoise is definitely one of the softest. So just be really aware of that and don't force the wire. So at this point, if I really wanted to, I could probably turn the heart a little bit. But if I leave it alone, it just stays in place. See, I can turn this like this, and it's just not spinning on its own. So it's just tight enough to make the heart stay in place, which is what we want. And as you can see, I hope you can see, I know it's very small, but the loop is perpendicular to the heart. So if we look at the heart from the side, we can also see that little loop.
Kimar says hi.
Hi, Kim, and thanks for joining us. Okay, ladies, and through the magic of Facebook Live, look at this. We already have the other one that's already made. How cool is that?
Ellen says hi, Irina and everyone.
Hi, Ellen, and thanks for joining us.
Trudy says hi, all.
Hello, Trudy.
Allie says hi, cute earrings.
Hi, Allie. Thank you so much. Okay, ladies. So once we made our little charms, The next thing we're going to make is the loop component, and this is literally the same loop component as we have made probably a schmillion times. And the only thing that's different, okay, so this just does not want to lay correctly, but it will hang correctly on your ears. So the only thing that's going to be just a little bit different is this elongated loop that looks like a teardrop. So in order to make that, we are going to be using our bail making pliers, and you can make it smaller, you can make it bigger, you can make it whatever size you want. But the key to doing this and making this loop about the same size as the other loop is we're going to do a little bit on one earring, a little bit on the other earring, and we're just going to take these very, very tiny steps. So in your kit, when you get your kit, and of course the kit is available on the Eclectica Facebook, I'm sorry, in the Eclectica Etsy shop, that's it. And so when you get your kit, you will find a length of wire that is 22 gauge, and you don't have to differentiate it from anything else because really there's no other wire other than just the ball pins, and those are very easily identified. So we are going to find the center and cut it in half. So that's what we're going to do in order to make that teardrop component. And I'm going to start, roughly 1.5 inches from the end. And I'm going to make just not a 90-degree angle, but just a little bit of an angle, like I'm going to say 45-degree angle. Yes, whoever would have thought that you would need geometry, right, in order to make jewelry? Well, it's fine. I don't really care that it's exactly 45 degrees. The point is, it's not a 90-degree angle. It's just this one is a little too close to a 90 degrees. So there we go.
Althea says, hi everyone, I'm so late.
Hi, Althea. You are just fine. I'm so glad you joined us. Okay, ladies, there's another way to do this as well, but I feel like this is just a little bit easier. So it's literally just like making our regular loops, except, just a slightly different angle. And now I'm going to use my bail making pliers, and I'm using the medium-sized bail making pliers. And I'm using the larger side of them. So here is our loop. And it doesn't have to be exactly the same as this one. This one is just a little bit more rounded. Whatever shape of loop you like. If we want to make it a little bit elongated, we can unbend the angle a little bit, and there, it's just got a little bit longer. And we'll do the same thing with the other wire. And so I'm just going to use the same side of my bail making pliers. And as I do it this time, I am going to, you know what? I was a little bit too excited, so I'm unbending it.
Lori says, good evening, Irina and Tony. Just found you.
Hi, Lori. I'm so glad you found us. Okay, ladies. So we're going to make a very similar little teardrop with our bail making pliers. As I mentioned, this is, I will show you how to course correct, because as you can see, I made it just a little bit smaller. So a little unbending just by giving it a little squish with our chain nose pliers, and it's like it never happened. So we're just going to cross over, and then we're going to compare the sizes, because given that they're going to be earrings, we kind of sort of want them to be very similar in size. So this is pretty similar, and you know, we're not a machine. Probably it's off by 1/10 of a millimeter or maybe 2/10 of a millimeter, and we don't really care. So the next thing I'm going to do is use my chain nose just to hold the wire right where the two ends intersect, and then I'm going to create a true 45-degree angle, something like that.
Ellen is wondering why not bend both at once.
And you know, when I said there's another way to do it, you can certainly do that as well. I feel like this is just a little bit more intuitive. And you know what? If I grab another piece of wire, because I don't really have another piece of wire, I will. Oh, you know what? Tony just found me another piece of wire. So let's take a little break from these, and I'll demo exactly what you're saying. So this is not the same gauge of wire, but this is just for the purpose of exploring a slightly different way of doing this. So if you want to bend both sides at once, you can certainly do this and cross them over, something like this. And yes, you do get the same result, but then you would just make a slight bend in this one, in the longer one, and then make a slight bend, or actually a 90-degree bend in the shorter wire end. So you can see this is really literally the same result. The only reason I chose this way of doing it, where you start out just with one end, is because it's a lot more similar to making a regular wrapped loop. And I think that's what most people are going to be used to. And then you don't have to figure out which way gets bent just a little bit, and which side gets bent just a little bit and which side gets bent 45 degrees, or see, I just confused myself, 90 degrees. And I think it's, you know, it's maybe just a little bit easier to confuse yourself. But I think, you know, whichever way looks good to you, just do it like that. Okay, ladies, please tell me if any of this made sense. I just need a little validation that all of that made sense. Okay, my friends, so once you have made the loop, before we wrap the loop, we are going to string our heart charm onto the wire so that it ends up inside the loop. And then we can hold on to the loop just like we do with any other wrapped loop. And we are going to just coil 2 times. I mean, after all we're doing is just making a wrap loop.
Fonda says makes perfect sense.
Thank you so much, Fonda. Oh, tell me which way you liked it. So this is the first way and the other one is the second way. You know, the one where I just made the loop. And both are perfectly good, you know, either way, whichever way you like to do it is great. So in the meantime, I coiled twice around my wire, and I'm going to cut off the excess wire, and of course we're going to give it a little squeeze and tuck in that little end. And what are we going to do with the other one? Of course, we're going to do the same exact thing. And you know what? I'm actually going to do it this way. So this is just a total minutia of wrapped loops, but I am going to point this out. if you want your coils to be really, really straight, make sure that the side of the wire that's going to be doing the coiling is behind the straight end of the wire. And I hope that made sense. Okay, so now I'm going to hold on to my loop and coil.
Allie says, so cute. So many earrings could be made with this style.
Thank you so much, Allie. It is so fun. There is barely anything to this. And they're so lightweight, as you can imagine. And of course, I really like the movement, you know. But yes, I love these types of styles where it's not just a straight head pin. There's just a little bit more to it. And yet, it's still super, super lightweight. Okay, so I got both of them to the same place. And, you know, at this point, you know exactly what's going to happen. So I'm just going to do one and finish it. So now we are going to string a little spiny oyster bead, a little rondelle, onto our wire. And at this point, all we have left to do is just make another wrap loop. And again, I'm just starting out with my chain nose pliers, making that 90-degree angle, and the wire needs to line up with the larger loop. So this is going to be a small loop right at the top of that spiny oyster bead, and so this loop is going to be parallel to the teardrop shaped loop. And again, I'm just going to use my round nose pliers, and this time I'm just making another tiny loop about 3 millimeters. We're going to center the loop and holding the loop, coil into the space that we left for coiling. And however many coils you can get in there, 2 or 3, that's fine. Just make sure to fill the entire space. And cutting off the excess wire, and we're going to tuck in the little tail. And now all we have left to do is just open the loop on the ear wire and sneak the ear wire loop into that top loop on the earring component. And guess what? We are done.
Fonda's wondering if you can hammer the loop before you put the heart on.
You know what, Fonda? I was actually thinking about doing that. In fact, you know what I'll do? Do you guys want to see what it would look like hammered? Because I was really considering doing that. And I'll tell you one other thing. Even if you decide to do it after you made the earring, you can just move the little heart charm to the side, and you can still hammer this part of it. Should we just do it? You know, I don't know if I have a hammer in here. I may.
Althea says, so pretty. And Allie says, yes.
Thank you so much. Yes to the hammering?
I think so.
Oh, guys, you know what? Great news.
Trudy says, yes.
Awesome. We're going to hammer.
Katie says, I received my fossils, etc. Today, but have not opened up the box yet, saving that for tomorrow.
Aw, that's so awesome. I'm so glad you got some fossils. They're so beautiful. It was like such a great find this year. And we have just a few more in the store, but they have been really going. So because where's the one I just made? Okay, so because I have already put my little heart charm on here, I'm going to be really, really careful. So what I'll do is I will put the loop on the block this way, with the heart just kind of hanging off my bench block. Can you guys see that?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, so I have my chasing hammer right here, and just very gently, we're going to be super, super gentle, and I'm sorry about the noise. Okay, so what do you guys think? It makes a difference, right? I think it makes a difference.
It's super cool.
And I actually really like this look. And you know, if you don't have a hammer and a bench block, well, first of all, of course, we can set you up. But if you're just not into it, it looks perfectly fine without hammering. But I do love that hammered look. And you know, initially when I made them, I thought about it. And then, of course, I promptly forgot. So, Fonda, thank you so much for reminding me.
Karen says, I like the hammered effect.
Thank you so much. And you know, I actually do recommend that you hammer it after you put the charm on and wrap the loop, because the thing is, if you're going to hammer before the charm is on, that means that this little coil is not yet wrapped, right? It's not coiled yet. So that also means that you may be distorting the shape as you're hammering. So it's actually best to hammer once the earring is already made.
Fonda and Trudy love it hammered.
Oh, thank you so much. And you know what? If you, well, let's just go crazy with the experimenting, right? I mean, I really do like it this way, just very simply hammered without texture. But, you know, in the name of experimentation, let's see how we like it if we also hammer it with the ball peen side of the hammer. Let's see if we like the hammer texture on this. And it's very, very subtle, right? I mean, you guys can see that, right? It's very subtle. I think I like it.
Lauren says, just bought the kit.
Yay! Thank you so much, Lauren. Well, you guys, I hope you enjoy the kits that you guys have been buying. And this is so simple. And I just love these little earrings. Okay, my friends. Well, this was so quick. It's almost kind of like cheating. But it's not. We just made earrings. So, so I'm going to just give you a little bit of an update and also a preview of everything that is coming up. And there's quite a bit that's coming up. So tomorrow I am going to be doing a video on, this is probably one of my favorite things ever. And I hope you're not sick and tired of me talking about how rare it's getting to be when you find beautiful carved gemstones. So tomorrow I am going to have a shopping event, and we are going to be looking at a lot of just different carved beads, components, pendants. This leaf, it's made out of jade and it's absolutely stunning. And then also look at this little fox face. I mean, how gorgeous is this? And if you're wondering if they're drilled, yeah, they are in fact drilled.
What is the fox made out of?
The fox is made out of red jasper. And we have some moonstone, not moonstone, mookite, not moonstone, but mookite, fox faces, and black onyx, and there are a couple of other stones that I just can't recall right now. But I think these foxes are just adorable, and there's so much detail on these. Anyway, that is what we're doing tomorrow. So we're going to be exploring all sorts of incredible carved components and also pearls. And this is going to be tomorrow, Friday. What is tomorrow? Friday the 28th. 8th. Thank you.
Sorry, I forgot my cue card.
Yes. So Friday the 28th, I forgot what date it was. And also pearls. We will have some absolutely stunning pearls. And, we've been quite a bit more conservative buying pearls, but we did buy some gorgeous, gorgeous pearls this year.
Althea says, love the fox and the leaf.
Thank you so much, Althea. Well, join me tomorrow, and there's going to be so much more. I have bears and elephants. Oh my. And they're all beautifully carved, and then there's some carved flowers. So it's really such a beautiful collection of carved gemstone and pearls. And then
March 3rd, which is Monday, 4 p.m. Central.
Yes.
On the Eclectica page.
Yes, on the Eclectica page. We're going to be doing, and I didn't grab any samples, but I'll be sure to grab samples tomorrow. So on Monday, we are going to be doing an exploration of all things focal point. And there are some very, very intriguing focal points, pendants. There's carved bone, there's metal, there's just a little bit of everything. But wait, there's more. Oh yes, so very importantly, we are going on vacation, yay! So we'll be skipping a week and a half worth of videos. So our next Thursday video is going to be Friday, March 20th. And this is, of course, what?
Thursday, March 20th.
Did I say Friday?
You did. That's this one right here.
Yeah. So Thursday, March 20th. I'm just seeing if you guys are paying attention. I'm trying to keep you on your toes. So,
Me too.
And Tony, I'm trying to keep Tony on his toes. So on March 20th, Friday, Thursday, I don't know why I keep saying Friday, but on Thursday, we are going to be making this triple the gems bracelet and necklace. So is it a bracelet? Is it, you know what? I think it'll be easier to clasp it if I do it like this. So this is triple the gems bracelet, which is also a necklace. And it is 3 different gemstones and a little extender chain that helps you to size it to your exact size. And this is what it looks like. So it's a triple wrap, and clearly it's is having a little party with my other bracelets. So now let me take it off and I will show you what it looks like as a necklace. So depending on the size of your wrist, it can be anywhere from 18 inches to 27 plus inches. And so the length of the necklace is going to be, of course, determined by the size of your wrist. So it's going to be triple whatever the size of your wrist is. And And then, of course, we will also have a video on March 21st. So we are resuming the videos as of March 20th. I hope that made sense.
Katie says, I'll be working tomorrow, but I'm going to need a fox head for a friend. Hope there's some left.
Oh, yay. Well, Katie, you know what? Yeah, if you want to just, are you able to watch after? I mean, we do have quite a few, and we have a separate inventory for the store. So even if we sell out, we can always grab something from the store if you let us know what you want.
Kim K says, I'll be sure to watch the replay of those beautiful earrings. Thanks so much for sharing.
Oh, thank you so much, Kim. Okay, my friends, and I believe this just covers everything. And I hope to see you tomorrow. Please join me for all sorts of absolutely gorgeous carved beads components, foxes, bears, elephants, oh my, and flowers and leaves, and I'm sure there's so much more that I am not recalling right this moment. And that, of course, is tomorrow at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. So I hope to see you there. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching. And Tony is saying that we have a comment.
Katie says, yes, I'll watch later. And Althea says, thank you.
Yay! Thank you so much, my friends. And thank you for your orders. Have a wonderful and creative evening.